I found out. My dad accidentally killed my sister. My sister Emily was always the light of our family. 3 years older than me, she was the golden child, smart, kind, and loved by everyone. Growing up, she was my hero, and I wanted to be just like her. But that all changed when she died in a tragic accident when I was 14. The official story was that Emily drowned. She had gone swimming in a nearby lake with some friends, and somehow she never made it back. The police said it was an accident. Our family was devastated, and my dad took it the hardest. He became withdrawn, spending most of his time alone and barely speaking to anyone. Life moved on, but the shadow of Emily's death lingered. I missed her terribly, and I could see the pain etched into my parents' faces every day. My mom tried to keep things together, but my dad was a shell of his former self. I never understood why until a few years later. One evening when I was 18, I was rummaging through the attic, looking for some old photos for a school project. I stumbled across a dusty box filled with my dad's old journals. Curious, I started reading through them. Most of the entries were mundane, but then I found one that changed everything. The entry was dated the day Emily died. My dad's handwriting was shaky, and the words were barely legible. As I read, my heart started pounding. He wrote about how he had taken Emily to the lake that day. She had been upset about something, and he thought a swim might cheer her up. They were alone, just the two of them. He described how they had been playing near the water when Emily slipped and hit her head on a rock. She fell into the water, unconscious. My dad panicked. He tried to save her, but by the time he pulled her out, it was too late. She was gone. He wrote about his terror and guilt, how he couldn't believe what had happened. He didn't know what to do. In his panic, he made a terrible decision. He decided to make it look like an accident. He placed her body in the lake and called the police, telling them she had drowned while swimming with friends. I sat there, stunned. I couldn't believe what I was reading. My dad had accidentally killed my sister and then lied about it. The weight of the secret he had been carrying all these years hit me like a ton of bricks. I confronted my dad that night. I showed him the journal entry and demanded an explanation. He broke down in tears, confessing everything. He told me how he had been haunted by that day, how he had never forgiven himself for what happened. He said he thought he was protecting our family by keeping it a secret. But he realized now that it had only made things worse. Hearing his side of the story didn't make the pain go away, but it helped me understand. My dad wasn't a monster. He was a broken man who made a terrible mistake. We talked for hours that night, crying and trying to make sense of everything. The truth about Emily's death brought our family closer in a strange way. We started going to therapy together, trying to heal the wounds that had festered for so long. It wasn't easy, and there were many difficult conversations and moments of anger and sadness. But slowly, we began to find a way forward. My dad still struggles with guilt, but he's working on forgiving himself. My mom and I have also found some measure of peace knowing the truth about what happened. Emily's death was a tragedy, but it wasn't the senseless accident we had believed it to be. It was a mistake, a horrible, heart-wrenching mistake. But it was also a moment of human frailty. We visit Emily's grave regularly, and every time we do, I think about how fragile life is and how important it is to cherish the moments we have with our loved ones. My dad and I have grown closer through this experience, and while the pain will never completely go away, we've learned to live with it and to support each other in our journey towards healing.